Do you think you know construction? Today we're going to do a little bit of a test. I wanted to drop some construction knowledge on you guys with the 7 things that I bet you guys didn't know about construction and construction projects. After watching the video all the way through, be sure to comment at the end and let me know how many of these things you knew, or any of these things that surprised you, or any other stories that you may have in the industry. And a huge mahalo to all of you out there for helping get our channel to 25,000 subscribers. Each one of you are the best. I do this for all of you out there. I really appreciate it. So if you haven't joined our growing family, don't forget to hit that subscribe button below and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any more videos from me. And lastly, a big thank you to TrueLook for sponsoring this video, but more on that later. So now that that like button is hit, we're ready to go into number 1. The construction design for a project is not done before the project starts. I mean, to me, logic would tell you that it would make the most amount of sense to have the project fully designed, coordinated, and then you bid it out to the contractor. They look at these completed set of drawings, bid it, you select them, and then they go and build the job. Not the case. If developers and contractors waited for the design to be completely done before starting the job, I don't even know if we would even get out of the ground. And this is not necessarily a knock on the designers themselves, just more of how the industry actually works as a whole. Especially nowadays in the pre-construction process, the contractor is actually more involved prior to the project to make sure that the design meets budget and is buildable. But really it should beg the question, how do we get anything done if the design is not complete? What is the contractor to do? So as a contractor, you want to be sure that when you're bidding a job that doesn't have a complete design, that you have a list of qualifications on what your bid is based on. You want to list as many assumptions as you can to tell the owners and designers what your number is based on. It's a very interesting thing to wrap your head around when you first start in the industry. Like, how can we be held to a number when we're basing it off of a set of documents that aren't done? But it's the nature of the industry, something that we as contractors have to work through. And the more that we communicate to the developer and the designer, the better off everyone will be. So number 2, what do you think construction project margins are? How much profit do contractors really make? Do me a favor, pause the video and write down in the comments what you think a typical contractor will make on a job as a percentage. 10%? 50%? 20%? 1%? So in all of my research that I was going through, it seems that contractors typically try to aim for about a 10% margin. But I wouldn't say that that would be the industry average. Construction in itself is a very risky business. Again, I mean, just going back to what we just talked about, you might not even have a complete set of documents that you have to base your number on. And not only that, there's so many variables and things that can go wrong, a lot of unforeseens in construction that make it very tough to estimate. So even though contractors shoot for 10%, they may not end up getting that at the end of the day, and their profit margins could be anywhere from about 3 to 7%. And obviously you're gonna have some jobs that lose money too. And this is not to say that, there aren't contractors that make a lot more than this. It's just that there are so many contractors out there, and when the business is inherently very risky, it just becomes very tough to make very large margins. It really wouldn't be surprising for the general contractor on some of these really big towers, these big multi-million-dollar buildings, to only be making a 3% margin or so. So number 3, construction projects have to deal with hoodlums. I don't even know if people even say hoodlums. I don't even know why I chose that word. But yes, nefarious behavior is very typical in construction. It's something that you have to plan for on your project site. And you see it from people graffitiing the project site barricades, or even people trying to climb the tower crane to either, I don't know, take a selfie or just personal fun, I guess. And it's hard because it's a risk that's not even associated with the project and the build itself, but just by the fact that your construction project may be around the public. So you want to make sure that you're as prepared as you can be and have the right security measures in place, which brings us to our sponsor for today's video, TrueLook. Unfortunately, theft and vandalism is part of the construction process that needs to be planned for. Over $1 billion is needlessly lost every year due to construction theft, and you do not want to be part of that statistic. So how can you avoid this? TrueLook, our sponsor of today's video. TrueLook has best been known for their construction camera solutions, and they have just launched their new product, Jobsite Surveillance. Using Jobsite Surveillance, you can utilize TrueLook's state-of-the-art construction cameras and set up and customize monitoring and motion alerts at different parts of your construction project site. But what really sets Jobsite Surveillance apart from its competitors is that there is a 24/7 monitoring service that is monitored by a real person. And this person will monitor all the clips and verify if the threats are real. And this is huge because you do not want to have a monitoring system that sets off false alarms. The peace of mind that you can get from this service is almost priceless. TrueLook also offers a 30-day money-back guarantee for their cameras and a lifetime warranty. There's even a solar option available, so you don't have to keep changing out a camera battery every time you want to look at your construction cameras. And if any of this interests you, I highly suggest that you use my link down in the description box below to learn more about TrueLook and their new job site surveillance product to see how you can take your construction projects to the next level. So yes, construction sites, we're gonna have to deal with people in the public doing things they're not supposed to be doing. And number 4, we have to think pretty hard about just regular logistics of the site. Like, we can't just randomly place the crane anywhere we want in the job site. You want your crane to be in the least intrusive places possible, yet close enough to all the places where you're going to offload and do your picks from and have the appropriate capacity. It's the same thing for the concrete pump. Where are you going to place your pump? Is it going to be going through your building, or are you going to be using a pump from the road? Do you have enough space on the road? How long of a pump do you need? Or even how many bathrooms do you need on this project? Where are you going to put the bathrooms? How are you going to swap them out? Are you near a residential neighborhood? Do you need to worry about your noise restraints? Do you need to do some sort of community outreach so that you can gain some public appeal? Where are you going to store all of your materials on site, or are you going to try to do just-in-time deliveries? And where are your workers going to park? And most importantly, have you hit that like button yet on this video? But yes, these are all questions that need to be asked and answered, and these are not things that are going to be shown on the drawing. These are things that need to be thought of, your means and methods of building, and that's kind of what makes it a little fun. So number 5, are you aware that construction has a lot of paperwork? A lot of paperwork. From your safety, environmental, your contracts, your shop drawings, your submittals, your inspections. Granted, at smaller companies you may have a little less in-house paperwork, but there is a paper trail for everything, including emails. Especially in today's world where there's a lawsuit for everything. You always want to make sure that you're dotting your T's. You want to make sure that you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's, and that's really what a lot of this paperwork is for, to make sure that you're covered and doing the right steps for the process. But yes, gone are the days of the handshake deals. We don't just go out there and build and do whatever. There is a paper trail to pretty much everything on the project. It's very tough to get away from paperwork, even in the construction industry. So number 6, the people that bid the construction projects are not necessarily the people that run the construction projects. So yes, it would be nice to take the project from beginning to end. You work, you negotiate with the owner, you bid the job, you learn about it, you estimate it, and then you run it. But it is also very likely that you will take over someone else's job that they won for you. So you'll have your estimating team win the job, and then the operations team will take the job and execute it. But that can create some gaps if you don't know what the estimators assumed, what those conversations and deals were at the beginning. If you don't have very good communication between the teams, there can definitely be a lot lost in translation between the estimate and your operations team. There's no one right way to do it, but yes, sometimes you can have 2 completely different teams getting the job versus executing it. And number 7, at least maybe this is my own personal opinion, I consider the construction industry a service-based industry. Especially in my mind when I was just graduating, I thought, it's just construction. You're just building. You're going out there and you're all rough and tough. But at the end of the day, contractors can't create their own projects. So we have to create relationships with the developers that are going to end up awarding us jobs. So you have to build a reputation, and your work has to speak for itself. You have to provide a relatively good service. You can't just build something and have it be a horrible experience for the developer. You're not going to win future work that way. So you have to have a little bit of business finesse, service finesse in this construction industry. There are even times where me as an engineer on the project needed to interface with homeowners on the project that I had worked on. So at the end of the day, that restaurant experience that I had in high school actually helped me out in terms of customer service. So yes, a lot of times it can be lost in the grind of the build of the project, but we do have to service the client, the community, and everyone around us. So those are my 7 things that you may or may not have known about the construction industry. Again, let me know in the comments below how many you knew of, or any other stories that you want to add to this list. Again, thank you all for getting this channel to 25,000 subscribers. Your support really means a lot to me. I really appreciate it. Thank you again to TrueLook for sponsoring this video, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe and hit the notification bell below so you can join our growing family here on YouTube. Thank you everyone so much for watching. I really appreciate your time, and I'll see you in the next video.